Hello, ladies and gentlemen, seniors and youth. Welcome to this broadcast of the World Baseball Softball Confederation 2023 Under-18 Baseball World Cup. One final game here from Taichung. It's Venezuela playing a doubleheader. They're going up against CZECHIA. This game was scheduled for yesterday, but due to rain, we're playing on Championship Sunday of the tournament. This is the placement round, finishing off in the beautiful time lapse of the white clouds out there. It is sunny, thankfully, on this beautiful Sunday. A perfect, picturesque kind of look at the baseball field. I'm Ryan Chen, your play-by-play and color commentator, doing my best here to wrap things up from Taichung. Right now, you're looking out at the flags raised in the right center field gap. Right now, it looks like the Chechen flag kind of turned around. Hopefully, you can get that fixed. But a little left to right action. Let's start with the Chechen offensive lineup, having rained out yesterday. They'll be starting Benjamin Morgan, Simon Klatzo, Filip Kubicek, Michael Sindelka, Jakub Winkler, Matos Bubanek, Jan Kozel, Votej Ventruba, Martin Sabotka from 1 through 9. They're going up against the Venezuelan squad, who have changed jerseys. They're now in their blue jersey with the yellow shoulders. It's Brian Fernandez getting the start. He's on the bump. And we will start this game off at 11 o'clock on time. At a faster pace, of course, than the broadcaster would like. I still need to fill out my lineup card, but we'll get to that. An 0-2 start. And it's Benjamin Morgan at the plate. Manager Petroche loves to have him in the leadoff spot. Taking that one high. 142 on the gun. Always like to give an update about, or give the recap and the review of the conversion. As the 1-2 has missed a little wide. 145 kilometers per hour is 90 miles per hour. Just think 45 times 2. When you want to go down, as Morgan swings and misses at that one. That's how we start our game off. 130 kilometers per hour is 81 miles per hour. So that's your maybe highest level breaking ball kind of speed. Venezuela, as mentioned, is playing a doubleheader. Earlier, they lost to Australia in a game that was suspended, so they did get underway. And there was quite a story to that one. Simon Kratzel, 4 for 19 on his tournament. He does not have an RBI yet. It does have a run scored. Now roller over to second, and Venezuela will record 2 outs. They've made a number of lineup changes. We'll have to get to that when we get to that. There's the defensive alignment. Anderson Tovar, Christian Aguiles in center, Bryson Guedes in right, and on the infield, Arrieche, Garces, Coronado, Soto, Francisco Rivera doing the catching for our man on the mound, Hernandez. Excuse me, that's Fernandez. Got kind of mixed up there. Filip Kubicek, in 10 at-bats, has recorded 3 hits, right now in the 3-hole. And there's a half swing to even up the count. Tenth pitch coming up on the game. Hernandez stepping a little wide, offering up his best velocity in the first inning, 144 kilometers per hour. In the earlier game, Venezuela stuck with their starter from across 2 days, as that one is fouled back. Melgarejo did get through 4 innings combined between the 2 days' effort. And reliever Dania, 1 2/3 inning, 22 pitches. Then Sanchez came in the bottom of the 6th, but did not record an out to help out his teammate. And then Perez had to finish it off as that one's taken for strike 3. Good start for Venezuela as they try to wrap up their tournament against Czechia. We're headed to the bottom half of the 1st. Here we get a look at the Venezuelan lineup on their last game. Carlos Gracias, Christian Agueras, Gabriel Davadillo, Anderson Tovar, Escamiciel Arrieche, Randy Soto, Francisco Rivero, Lenekir Coronado, and Bryson Guedes from 1 through 9. Out on the field for Czechia, Michael Sandelka in left, Simon Klatzel in center, Jan Kozel in right, and across the infield from left to right, Filip Kubicek, Martin Sobotka, Benjamin Morgan, Jakob Winkler, Matos Bubenek will be doing the catching for their #1 guy, Michael Sine. Sine was tabbed as the first game starter for Czechia way back when on September 1st against Mexico, but that game was rained out after just 3 outs were recorded. He only has 6 innings pitched to his name, but 9 strikeouts is indicative of the stuff he's got. For those of you who are tuning in a little earlier, we are GMT +8. Later in the day, we have Korea versus USA in the bronze medal game at 2 p.m. Taipei Tianmu Baseball Stadium. The championship game between Japan and Chinese Taipei will take place at 6 p.m. also in Tianmu. If you're going to be moseying on into the stadium, or if you're going to be watching through the feed, those are the timings to get it. Sine will even up the count. Third baseman Kubicek playing a step in front of the third base bag. Garces singled 3 times in the morning game, but bounces this one to the left. Sobotka running in on it, and it will get under his hands. Now Venezuela has a man on first to lead off the inning, and they'll chuck that baseball away to the dugout. Here you see the roller with a little bit of a cue shot, and Sobotka could not get a hand on it. And kind of unfortunate for him, he's going to be charged with an error. Not the same way, but Garces does accomplish the mission of getting on base like he did successfully, as mentioned, 3 times in the earlier game. The one time was yesterday afternoon. The game against Australia started about 2:10 in the afternoon. As center fielder Aguelas will stand in to hit. Christian Aguelas, a 16-year-old, but that's a pretty common sight on the Venezuelan squad, who are, I dare venture, the youngest of the group. There's a runner going to throw down the second. It looks like it beats him. We have a slight collision and the out called. Garces, don't know if he ran into the leg or ran into the tag. He is right now down for the count. Got that sliding glove on, but collision with the middle infielder will cause the additional staff to come out to attend to him. He's called out at second, and the bigger concern is not the outer safe situation, but possible injury situation. You see Sobotka, and then he ran into the left shoulder, and that kind of turned his neck. That's definitely a tough one. He's trying to avoid contact. He's trying to like pull up and lean to the right, but that's end up where the fielder was trying to kind of move across. So thankfully he's on his feet, but I'm sure he's not very comfortable right now. Looks like he's heading toward the dugout, accompanied by staff members of Venezuela. They are on the shorthand side with only 18 players on their registered roster. You are allowed 20 in this World Cup. The out will stand, so there's no need to replace him quite yet. We'll see if he's able to go. That's number 5, Garces. A 2-2 count now to the second place hitter. Sine leaves a fastball up there, fouled back. The Venezuelan lineup. Right now at the plate, as that one's lined up the middle. So 2 consecutive batters have reached base. One via the air, one via the single through the center. Venezuela has only batted 9 players at the plate, with Juan Angel Perez taking a walk. He's really listed at pitcher. His 1 plate appearance is a walk, so that's some nice efficiency. But otherwise, the other 9 guys have gone pretty much the whole way through the tournament. Now is the designated hitter, number 4, Davalillo. 3 hits and 20 at-bats. Sine pumping one in there. That one had some major two-seam action. That means his ball will run, as a fastball, will run to the arm side. So Sine's a right-handed pitcher, will kind of move down and to the right. Sometimes called a sinker. But that one left high. Venezuela as a lineup as a whole, hitting .220 on the tournament, first round, opening round, you could say, and these placement rounds. That one's fouled back. They only have 5 extra base hits. The slugging percentage only .256. They've reached via the walk 33 times, have been hit by pitch 7 times, and that helps to a .371 on base percentage. That's not too shabby in this tournament, where we've seen offenses have had their struggles for sure. In fact, there was 2 shutouts, I believe, yesterday in the Super Round. That one's poked to the right side, in trouble, but hitting off the bullpen wall on the Venezuelan side of the field. That's the first base side, as is customary in the WBSC events. The visiting team, the road team, the away team. Oh, I suddenly realized there's so many ways to say it. On the first base side, the home team, the host team. On the third base side, Sine going home and leaving that one a little outside. Full count now. 17th pitch of the inning coming up. He struck out batters at a high rate, but so far through the first inning here, not that efficient. The 1 out recorded by the caught stealing. Credit to his catcher, Bubanek. Runner going, that one's fouled back. Natural, as it is a, well, somewhat unsurprising, I should say, with a 3-ball, 2-strike count for the runner to be going. It's not mandatory. The only situation where it is 3-2 with 2 outs. Lilo forcing a lot of pitches, kind of slows up his swing. That one's popped to the left side. I think that's Sindelka. He will make the catch for the 2nd out. So Sine does fool Davalilo with something off speed. And now will be the cleanup hitter. They're giving credit to the PA announcer, the PA ladies. They've been with us throughout this tournament. Done a great job reading out the names. Tovar in the earlier action was actually batting 7th. Reached via a single up the middle in the 2nd. Was the start of that rally that I mentioned that Venezuela looked like they had Australia down for the count as that swing and miss bounces away. They already scored a run in the 1st, and then the 2nd inning, single walk. They had the bases loaded with only 1 out before the rain had to suspend that game. So with that situation, they went to sleep, and Australia went to sleep. We went to sleep, and we arrived at the ballpark. That's what we started with. Australia brought in a reliever in Jai Hewitt. He coaxed a broken back double play, and that was the end of that. So not only did Venezuela not break open the lead, soon after, Australia tied the game in the bottom half of the 2nd. And eventually, a 2-run home run by Paparella, then a big 5-run bottom of the 6th. Really sealed that one for Venezuela as the runner's going. Line drive to 3rd. That'll be the end of the inning. So Venezuela leave one stranded as this game underway here in the final here in Taichung with the U18 World Cup. Czechia's turn to hit. Leading off for them in the 2nd inning is left fielder Sindelka. Sindelka has 4 hits on the tournament. Lines one to 3rd, and we have an L5 and an L5 back to back, but by different teams. Good start for Venezuela on defense, who have recorded 4 straight outs. Playing first base for today, Winkler will be taking his at-bat. Kind of realize after the whole tournament is through, these Chechen hitters hit for an okay average. For the opening round, for example, stats I recorded, the entire tournament is only hitting 225. with Group B being a little bit more offensive-minded than Group A. Minus the Mexico-Czechia game. The teams that did make it to the super round were batting .267, and those in the placement rounds just .180 on the batting average. Just an indicator of bat-to-ball skills. Not a comprehensive stat, of course, as that one's fouled straight back. And remember, in the Venezuelan half of the first inning, it was number 5 Garces who kind of ran into this infielder and had to walk off the field slowly. And it does look like that's them out in short. So actually in this game, because of the doubleheader, Czechia and Venezuela are on opposite dugouts to what is customary at the WBSC events, as that one's looped into center, and Winkler will be the first base runner for Czechia. I have to correct myself about that. But a lot of things about this last game are kind of getting funny on me. As you probably can expect for our second makeup day, really, of baseball here in Taichung. We were completely rained out on September 1st at this stadium here at Taichung Baseball Stadium. And then on our rest day, Wednesday the 6th, that was supposed to be a makeup day where we played 3 games, but we only got through 2 before the third was rained out. Actually, in fact, the second one only got halfway. That's Puerto Rico versus Korea, as much as Bubanek hit with a Moran on first. And not on September 7th, but on September 8th, we tried to play 4 games. Got rained out after 2 and part of 1 game. And today, or the day after, tried the same thing. And we end up with 2 games that we got to play here. Anyways, enough recapping of the past. 2-0 count. And sitting on it is a now 3-0 count. That one gets away, and it's a walk anyways. Winkler will hustle into second. Nowhere else to go. So right fielder Kozel will hit with a man in scoring position. He's playing right field for Czechia today. Kozel also pitches. He's made 2 appearances. As a position player, he's got 2 at-bats, and he got a base hit. That was against Spain. Called strike there. Now pulling out the bunt, and it kind of hits the bat close to the handle, and Kozel's trying to say he got hit by the ball. And it looks like he doesn't realize that because his bunt was still out, that's going to be called for a strike and not a hit by pitch. Got to take the bat back. In any case, it's a dead ball. But he's still alive, 1-2. Off-speed pitch, big breaking ball left outside. And swinging and missing at a high fastball. That's 2 down now for CZECHIA. And the third strikeout in the early goings for Brian Fernandez. Taking it is Venturba, the designated hitter. Mentioned on the Venezuela side how they're so young. There you see Venturba trying to get in his first at-bat of the tournament. The youngest player for Venezuela, I'm looking at their information, is actually number 15, Francisco Rivero. He's at bat. He's in the hole right now for Venezuela when they come to hit. On the Chechen side, they definitely try to switch things up with defensive alignments and defensive positionings in their last game, but that actually came kind of to their detriment of their results. You know, 2 outs, 2-strike count as they kind of fool the runner, but the pitcher goes home for a ball. Actually going the wrong way was Wrinkler. Now a pickoff move. CZECHIA committed 4 errors in the game against Panama, and on back-to-back games on the same day lost 4-1, first to Mexico, then to Panama. There you see the tapper at the plate, and it looks like Venturba is gonna have to play through a in Mandarin we call it 自打球. Hit yourself with the ball. That one's in there for strike 3, so make it 4 strikeouts for Venezuela in the early going. That's Fernandez holding things down. So the Sine family here to support their kid in the U18 Baseball World Cup 2023 edition. Still on the bump, out for another inning of work. Definitely would aim to be a little bit more efficient than his first inning. Starts off with a ball to third baseman of the game, Esmiquiel Arrieche. Kind of close, but it's going to be 2-0. Dropping in a little slider there. And then another one. Now, I talked to Wayne McNeil of sometimes pitchers not able to locate fastballs. So they'll go to a breaking pitch. Well, sometimes that applies to them playing defense out on the field. This time he goes with heat. Fouled back. But obviously the key in being a good teammate is communicating. So you better let that first baseman or shortstop or third baseman know you're going to be throwing a slider to them. Well, he's gotten over the plate with a couple sliders and then trying to finish with a fastball. It's going to be a miss with the slider. It's interesting because with sliders, sometimes you can grip it a certain way, but your motion has to change. And some guys would say you can pitch a slider with the same kind of motion. As there's a swing and a miss. Again, going to that off-speed pitch. He's got his first strikeout for Michael Sine. Michael Sine now will be facing first baseman Soto. Loud contact, but foul to the left. He'll dance all the way into the CZECHIA bullpen. Soto at the plate has 3 hits and 17 at-bats, has been the first baseman for Venezuela in every single one of their games. Been pretty solid at first. 1 error and 39 chances for a .974 fielding percentage. Now trying to do it at the plate. Getting into a 3-1 count. That'll work in your favor. Breaking ball. Pop to the left side. And making the play is Sendelka. That's 2 gone. Catcher Rivera will now take his at-bat. Here you see his line, 5 hits in 19 at-bats, 2 RBI. Check swing, foul ball. Rivero's best hitting performance was 2 hits against Spain. It's kind of a third baseman catcher, and he goes between those 2 positions. This one hit on a bounce to second baseman Morgan. He'll throw on to first as the Venezuelan half inning is over. Still scoreless here in Taichung. Shortstop Sobotka will come up to hit against Brian Fernandez. He's already made 2 starts in the tournament. This is his 3rd. See Martin Sobotka trying to raise his batting average. 1 for 18 so far. Left high, 2-0 count. Fernandez has got a rather short stride. He is on the taller side as a pitcher. The tournament record's 195 centimeters. Gets the strike zone there. But it's pretty obvious when he strides to the home, he's not extending himself nearly as much, and Sobotka will coax a leadoff walk. So the CZECHIA lineup will turn over from 9-1. And Morgan, having struck out in the first, will now take his at-bat with a man on first. Venezuelan defense actually pulled in for the bunt play as Morgan showed for a sec, but then pulled it back on the high and tight pitch. Never a comfortable feeling. Back pick, but the first baseman Soto was a little off. No chance at first. But a 2-0 count now. So creating leverage for Ben Morgan at the plate as we have a timeout called. And pitching coach for Venezuela, Colmenares, will come out and speak to the pitcher, the catcher, at the third baseman. He's coming in because for Venezuela, Arrietche and Rivero, third baseman and catcher, often swap positions from game to game. And in this game particularly, second and short, Coronado and Garces, respectively, actually swapped 2 from the earlier game this morning. So still playing the bunt right now. Arrietche on the grass. There's the bunt. It's over, and the pitcher able to scoop it before it got anywhere. And we have a runner on second with 1 out. Almost no coverage of third, but between Arrietche and Garces, they prevent Sobotka from advancing any further. So a successful sac bunt, and Simon Platzo will get to hit with a runner in scoring position. Left-handed hitter against right-handed pitchers. That one gets by. And now we have a man on third. That wild one just got away from Fernandez. I think they were setting up outside, and then the pitch went inside. Now the infield drawn in. Not all the way in on the grass as we've seen a lot of infield sets. Shortstop and second baseman hovering right between the dirt and the grass. As you see some of the guys getting loose in the Venezuelan bullpen. So Kratzel with a 1-0 count. Taps it, it's fair. Arrietche coming to field it on the bare hand. His throw to first is not in time. And in fact, it pulled Soto into a one-knee stop. And so, and presumably an infield single, and the inning continues. Arrietche came in on it, fielded on the bare hand. A 1-2 step to first, but the throw was a little bit low, and so Soto, playing it safely, blocks it. But now Venezuela also is presented with a chance if they convert the double play They're out of the inning without surrendering a run. Filip Kubicek will hit. Struck out looking in the first. Takes a big cut. That one's popped way up in the middle of the field. Garces will take charge and put it away. One pitch, one out. So even better than a strikeout. And that will mean Michael Sendelka will hit. Left high with the off-speed pitch. That one all the way down to 99 kilometers per hour. That's only about 62 miles per hour. 1.61 if you have your calculators handy. Kilometers per 1 mile. A back pick by the catcher, safe. Pretty close, Sobotka. Kind of dancing around at third. There you see kind of stepping into the field to make the throw a little trickier. No play there. CZECHIA. Jakub Malik. And all the coaches on CZECHIA are actually current ball players in their adult league. Hitters count as they haven't picked off at second. Now Venezuela's got to execute this rundown quickly because the run scores, and maybe not the most ideal way, but CZECHIA have taken the lead in the pickoff situation on the field. We're in the middle of the third, and it's Venezuela's turn to hit. Couple of the attendees at the game sitting way high into the third base side of the stands, as CZECHIA has taken a 1-0 lead at a situation don't see very often, but a pickoff that results in an out, but also results in a run. So really the takeaway lesson from that, as an infielder or if an outfielder or catcher, pitcher, whoever gets involved in a rundown, man on first and third originally was a chance for Venezuela to turn a double play. Here we see Coronado take 2 pitches for balls. And now 3. The takeaway is when you have 2 runners, you kind of need to gauge who's the one that can hurt you. Now the runner at first, he's 3 bases away from scoring, but the runner at third, he's the one that can put that run on the board. And in a tie game, well, that's an early lead for your opponent. So while you do have the man hung up between first and second, somebody's got to take charge and say, we need to throw home and cut that runner down, because either the runner at first or the runner at third is your desired third out of the inning. After the walk, Guedes will hit 5 for 19 on his tournament. So you're trying to get either one of those guys, because there's 2 outs. It's not like you're going to be too greedy, I'd assume, and try to get both of the guys out, both of the runners out. So in that situation, especially in a tie game, if you're up by several runs, perhaps you just kind of let it go and you kind of trust your more sure-handed infielders to get the out. Sure, and there's another pickoff throw. But in a tie game, or in a game you want to come back from, I would assume coaches want you to get that guy at third, especially he takes off. Now, if the runner you get picked off, you can go back and forth until you get the out, as long as the man on third doesn't move. But when you can coax that one man, the one runner, I guess woman in different competitions, or if we'll have a woman in these baseball World Cups, go get him or her, because it is a long distance between these bases, 90 feet. Throwing a baseball will always be faster than the runner. So after the walk, we start 1-0, and it looks like the batter offered at it. So we have, I think, twice now in the game. It was, I believe it was the Kozel who thought he got a hit by pitch, but he didn't take back the bunt, so that was called the strike on the dead ball. And now we have a bunt foul ball. That one's better done. Sine, barehand is underhand. Sometimes a risky play, but he gets the job done. And now, after Ben Morgan in the third inning had a sac bunt, now Venezuela tries to do the same. It's Guedes who will have a SAC in the box score. The leadoff hard hitter, Carlos Garces, will hit. What kind of works for him after that collision at second base is he is a left-handed hitter, so he's going to look toward his right, the same direction which he kind of ran into Sabotka at second on that caught stealing attempt, giving him perhaps a kink in his neck. Hopefully he's 100%, but at this point in the tournament, you kind of assume everyone might be dealing with a little bit of something, though, to be fair, we're looking at a U18 field with 18, 17, 16, even 15-year-olds, so I'd assume they'd heal pretty fast, sometimes rapidly. 46 pitch coming up for Sine. Breaking ball in the dirt, a beauty. So he showed off a kind of nickel slider before, but that one kind of looked like a Taiwanese or Japanese player splitter. Long look to second, and a second. And now he's going to the plate with his defenders kind of out of position. Sometimes pitchers and middle infielders have designed plays that they would run to try to pick off the runner at second. One of the biggest reasons, obviously, is if you get the out, but another is to change the looks, as there's a swing and a miss on a high fastball. Garces is retired. Second strikeout by the pitcher, Sine. Kind of a rarity, but it looks like second place hitter, and number 2, Arguelles, will be intentionally walked. They want to face Davalilo, who flew out to left field in the last at-bat. And to open up the sample size, he did strike out twice and popped one out in the earlier game. Though, of course, that first at-bat, again, was yesterday. Man, all kinds of funky things going on in this last day. Ball before the plate hits the dirt. Tight situation here for CZECHIA. Davalilo, big cut, but it goes back. So with 2 outs, the runners will be going on contact. Davalilo really just want to put it in the outfield for a base hit. Inside. A rare catcher to second base back pick. Venezuela and CZECHIA, both 2 wins and 2 losses in the placement rounds. There's a off-speed pitch catching the corner for a strike. Whoever wins will pull ahead of the other one for what I believe should be 10th place. But of course they have other company at 3 and 2. So I guess some tiebreakers that need to be cleared up. That'll of course show up in the final standings. And if you want to stay abreast of that, WBSC is on social media, or you can visit the site wbsc.org. Well, that being said, we have a full count with 2 outs, so runners will be going to Davalilo. That was a slider that he does put in the air, but foul. So as a response, the Chechen outfielders are playing a few steps in from their normal depth. Only Sindelka in left field kind of playing that normal depth. That one's in the dirt. A full count walk as left fielder Tovar will now get a chance to hit. Timeout by CZECHIA. They do have a man in the pen. Their pitching coach, Thomas Dufek. Looks like he gave instructions to Sine to figure out the end of this inning. Parents looking on. They're right now maybe not in the most jovial mood as we see the darker clouds move in, and it's cooled down the playing conditions, and we certainly want to get ahead of any possible precipitation. Kind of sick of the R word right now. Just being honest, y'all. I'm sure my colleagues in the WBSC and the CTBA offices would agree. First pitch, fouled back. Venezuela has reached 3 times in the inning via the walk. Number 18, Tovar. Put that one in the air. It's got a lot under it as Sindelka will wait for it to come down, and CZECHIA gets out of the bases loaded situation. So a shutdown inning for them. Let's see if they can add on in the 4th.
别特别的进攻，场上打击顺序来到第4棒，number 11，
Mikhail Sindelka will lead things off. He was in the batter's box as CZECHIA scored a run on the pickoff play. That was Simon Kratzel who was picked off, but not before 9th place hitter and shortstop Saboka was able to score from 3rd. We did a whole thing about managing runners as a defense. On the mound, Fernandez. He's got 3 strikeouts on the game against Chechian lineup. But now in a 3-0 hole. Kind of floating one in there. Here's a man warming up in the Venezuela bullpen as Sindelka hits it in the gap, and the Venezuelans have their heads turned. That one's going to land in front of the warning track. Sindelka rounding a second and heading on to 3rd. The throw is over all the cutoff men. And in with a triple is a leadoff base hit for CZECHIA. Well, we've seen the power kind of come alive here at Taichung Baseball Stadium after Chinese Taipei served up some home cooking at Intercontinental. You see both outfielders like overran the ball because it didn't bounce further onto the track and against the home run wall. That's kind of the long grass and the result of the dew out there and the residual dampness from yesterday's rain. So sometimes the ball will skip, but the way it was flying up and then it came down, well, it just stuck there, and the Venezuelans outran it, and then they missed their cutoff men. So they're playing in now with CZECHIA threatening to double the lead from 2-1. Winkler already singled in the game, so kind of nervous time if you're Venezuela. Inside out swing, but fouled. On the tournament, CZECHIA has had a handful of extra base hits, 5 doubles, but that is their first triple. They do not have a home run yet. Of course, they are not hitting for a fantastic average either. Understandably, there is tough competition out there, which they have faced. Left high. You know, if we have stats on runners in scoring position, they would not exactly be favorable to the offenses of this tournament. Full count now as that one's lofted in the air to right, and it will fall. So an RBI single for Winkler. He is 2 for 2 on the day as the supporters of CZECHIA having quite a bit to cheer for. So consecutive hits, and really it feels like basically consecutive offensive scores for them after the pickoff resulted in a run. And that's enough for Venezuela. They're going to bring in a reliever. So Fernandez will leave the game, having given up a couple of runs. So in the top of the 4th, after facing a couple of batters, he is out, and we will have to introduce our new pitcher for Venezuela after this.
Venezuela 队1号投手会对场上老百姓的number 14，一旦可能让人会的。
Our new pitcher is number 14, Dylan Fernandez. As Brian Fernandez leaves the game, 64 pitches, 4+ innings, but not getting anyone out. Or excuse me, 3+ innings. This fourth one does not count. That's why it's a plus. Dylan Fernandez's stats, not giving up any earned runs in 3 2/3 of an inning. Has 4 strikeouts. Strike to catcher, 6th place hitter Bubanek. He did walk in the second. Trying to keep the line moving, so to say. Big bat waggle by Bubanek, but he takes that third pitch for a ball. Over at first, just had the RBI single, is number 25 Winkler. And a big swing, a chopper to third. Handling it is Arrietche over to first. And a nicely turned double play by the Venezuelan defense. That one is what we call around the horn, the long way. So a couple retired. You see the big swing by Bubanek probably slowed up his start to first, as Coronado now playing second after this morning, making a nice turn. It's a little bit harder as a second baseman than the shortstop catching something from the right side of the infield. Venezuela shows off their leather, but I guess more or less shows off their arms. In that particular instance, Jan Kozel struck out in his first at-bat. The catcher gets onto his rear end. He pops right back up like a hockey goalie. Breaking ball, bounce to the left side. Garces, the throw over to first. A little trickiness with the camera, but it is an out. So CZECHIA able to score 1. Now they lead 2-0. Let's see if Venezuela has an answer.
The Republic Social International by Picture Republic, number 77, Albert Balakja.
Number 77, Albert Prazak, will be coming in relief for CZECHIA. His team already with a 2-0 lead, thanks to a triple, then an RBI single. Sendelka and Winkler in order. First batter he will face is number 13, who started the double play in the last inning for Venezuela, Arrietche. Sometimes catcher, sometimes third baseman, and he looks really good at third. The 0-2 pitch is left wide. and fouled back. Albert Prazak has only made one appearance. That was 2 innings against Chinese Taipei, where he did allow a hit and a couple of walks. He did strike out 3, though, and was able to coax fly out and a ground out. I'm sure there was a out on the bases. Fastball left high, 137. On the Czechian side, for their roster constructions, that one is going to be taken for a ball. They have 13 pitchers, which is the most in the tournament. That includes guys who are two-way players. The lowest number of listed pitchers is the Netherlands with 8. But a leadoff walk is not exactly the way they wanted to get things started. Randy Soto flew out to left in his first at-bat. Fouls it back into the left. And that one will bounce back to the neighborhood, as we say. The Czechian pitchers as a whole, a 3.43 ERA. So far, 49 innings. Missing just by a little bit. It's a 1-2 count. He only struck out 36 batters, which is not a high percentage, but they've kept themselves in baseball games here in Taiwan at the World Cup, excuse me, the U18 World Cup. Pace has slowed down quite a bit. Middle infielders, double play depth, outfielders playing about squares. A little hit and run, it looks like. Sendelka broke in, then now backpedaling to the catch. He's had a lot of work out there in left. So first out of the inning by Venezuela at the plate. In fact, Sendelka has had at least one fly ball every single inning defensively. Now catcher Rivero will ground one to the left side, and that's going to bounce off of Kubicek. We'll see how they score that one. Arrietche will reach second. On a hard hit ball, to be sure. There you see Kubicek try to slide, try to glove it. That one was a little bit too hot. So first and second now, as the outfielders have backed up quite a bit. A little fake throw by Prazak, looking back the runner. Coronado walked in the third, but was stuck at third base. Will now try to get the RBIs himself. Putting a charge into that one, and now running in fact, it's Kratzel. That's 2 away now. Yeah, it definitely felt like off the bat that was well hit, and Kratzel and I were on the same page initially. Then in fact it was actually short of his position. So with 2 outs, it's the 9th place hitter Bryson Guedes laid down a sacrifice bunt in the third, trying to help his team score these runs. Razak, you can see kind of what I call a lazy-ish motion. Not that he is a lazy ball player, but just the way he kicks and then he leans forward and then the throw. It's not like some other guys who are a little bit herky-jerky or very quick. Now, that being said, it does create some deception as your pitch is released and it goes home. Especially if you have good velocity, right? The slow motion and then the heat or the cheese, as Wayne likes to say. It kind of surprises batters as that one is chopped foul. Probably not the swing Guedes and his hitting coach wants him to take. But he's still alive at 1-2. Going into the zone and kind of playing with fire there as the ball visits the CZECHIA bullpen. I don't know why their bullpen catcher didn't turn around and make a catch. Both of those men are safe, as it looks like that bullpen pitcher is just about done warming up, or could be an exercise, right? There could be some gamesmanship. That one's bounced to the right side. Morgan will play it after it goes under the runner. And the third out is recorded for Venezuela. So they leave two stranded as we are done with the fourth inning. Showing bunt, but pulling it back. Leadoff hitter for CZECHIA is a pinch hitter, in fact. There he is. I'm scrambling a little bit to get back to my spot. It is Luque, and looks like he is hit by a pitch, and that's going to get a few jeers from either the CZECHIA bench or the audience. Well, just took it on the left tricep. It was definitely a funny-looking bat toss, though. I will admit that. Number 14, Fernandez, still out there on the mound. I actually looked it up. There are only 2 Fernandezes in this tournament, as Martin Saboka will hit Showing bunt and taking it back. So going down the list, there are 3 Kims. One on the Australian team, in fact. Jaden Kim. And there are 4 Gonzaleses. A couple of Gomez's. Popped up with a bunt. It's the catcher's play, and Rivero will put it away, so a failed bunt attempt. Those unproductive outs. Sobotka did not look exactly comfortable. He didn't get the bat that far out. There's a couple Peñas, a couple Sotos, 1 in this game, 2 Rodriguez's. A couple of Wongs, a couple of Shoes. HSU, not Ace, SHO. This is not an English lesson. Number 8, Ben Morgan up to hit. Try to, so to speak, pick up his teammate. That's what we say when maybe you don't get the desired outcome you want on the field, but your teammate is able to, in a subsequent play, help you out by successfully doing an action on the field. As another pickoff throw. They've paid a lot of attention over there to Luque. That is what we call pick up your teammate. What is also common is if a guy gets hit by a pitch, he might want to steal the next base. So first to second. If he was mad sometimes, and if he had the speed. Maybe Venezuela is a little cognizant of that. But a 1-1 to Morgan is a fastball that ends up dropping low. Due up for Venezuela in their half of the 5th inning. It's going to be their leadoff hitters. That one's poked to center, and it will drop. And that will be the 5th hit in the game for CZECHIA. Morgan with his first base knock of the day. There you see just one left across the letters. Not a big threat, as looks like CZECHIA will have a pinch runner go out for Luque. So I guess he got the job done by reaching second. Sounds like our microphone's picking up some of the field workers around the field. In for another day of work. But on the morning we had, I would say it's worth it. And of course, to get the baseball in, it's Simon Kratzel who's going to step up to the plate. 1 out, man on first and second. Left wide. Venezuela's bullpen right now empty. But they have brought in a guy from the dugout, so it's not like a hard rule that he needs to come from the dugout. I mean the bullpen, excuse me. Well, in that way, it could be gamesmanship by Venezuela, right? You don't show anybody, and then you bring somebody who's actually ready to go. Or, of course, like I've suggested before, teams can intentionally have pitchers warm up in the bullpen, but not bring them in. Kind of works both ways. That one's lifted foul. Nope, I'm not in those boxes. Looks like Fernandez needs a moment to regather his strength. This is the 21st pitch coming up. In the last inning, it only took 7. Runner going. The throw on the third is too late. And diving back And diving back safely, scrambling back is, I believe that is Michael Pokorny out there to run. Got a good jump, even though it was a little early. And the slide was a little too good. Arieche was not ready to apply a continuation tag, I call it. So first and third, and a little hit and run right to the spot, vacated by the shortstop. And sliding into third, but out, as CZECHIA getting a little run happy there on the base paths. But the most important thing, they have a 3-0 lead. Another look, number 12, Glatzel, perfectly peppering it to the spot where the defense just vacated. And Morgan, it's close, but it does look like the throw and the tag beats him. So, accurate throw made by Tovar and left. At least gets the out. The second out of the inning. Our scoreboard operator in the stadium needs to catch up. You got it. Line to the left side, and nothing Tovar can do but chase after it. Kubicek will cruise on into second with an RBI double. Right now, it's, after Australia did so in the earlier game, it's CZECHIA who've kind of opened things up on the inning. It's not a big inning yet, but a 4-0 lead is right now substantial. So number 11, Sendoka, who already tripled in the game to left center field. You know, representing a big power threat. Well, with a man on second, it won't even take that much. 2 outs, a base knock will get it done, as that one's wide for ball 2. Now Venezuela's got something going. Number 19 is Maximo Moises de Jesus Gonzalez Hoyes. I do not know, but I'm sure I can find out soon enough if that's the longest name we have in the tournament. We have some candidates. It's always interesting to come to a tournament with different countries, different ethnicities, and the way they name every one of their boys. As that one's popped to the right side, it will be a single, and a run will score. So Sendoka, after a triple and a score in the 4th, has himself a RBI base knock in the 5th. That is 4 straight CZECHIA hitters reaching via base hit. Kind of tough go for the pitcher Fernandez, and he will be replaced out on the mound. I mean, these double headers are not easy. If you look down at the sheet for the lineups, no Venezuelan pitchers, but Reyes, number 22, is ineligible. But there are probably quite a few fatigued arms out there having to manage getting through this tournament, where there's only supposed to be 1 rest day between the opening round and the placement rounds or the super rounds, whichever one you end up at. But with all the delays and all the start and stop games we've got going, I mean, it does mean more rest, but it also means you arrive at the ballpark, you get your warm-up in, probably get a workout in, you do your skill stuff with hitting, pitching, fielding. You do all those things, and you might not finish the ball game. So that's, you know, a little bit extra work, but it's work nonetheless. So Maximo Gonzalez there, his stats on the tournament: 2 1/3 innings, 4 strikeouts. 0-1 in the records. This is his 4th appearance here in the World Cup, which is a higher number. Previously pitched against the Netherlands. And a clean scoreless inning against Spain. And issued a couple walks against Mexico as his 1, 2, 3 appearances. This is number 4, trying to get his teammates in the dugout. First batter he faces is Winkler, who's got 2 hits on the game. So welcome into the game. You get to face the hottest hitter. Throw on to first, and for the first time, Rivero actually throws wide to the left on his pickoff attempt at first base. He's thrown plenty of times, but right on the money. That's kind of an odd thing. You almost expect the throw to end up a little bit more to the right-hand side. In any case, no errors made. The runner is safe. The inning continues. In the dirt, off the shoulder, and that'll mean the runner will move up. That's Sendelka scurrying on to second. And on to third, the throw is over. It's into left field, and he's going to go. Tovar picks it up, dishing it home, and it will not be in time. So a mad dash by Sendelka all the way from first to home. That's one of the more impressive efforts on the base pass we've seen all tournament. There you see he was kind of going on the pitch, and he aggressively made the turn. A long throw from the backstop to third, then a long throw from the left field corner all the way home. It was a pretty decent one. But that is now 6-0 on the board for CZECHIA. As the ball bounced to the left side, it will bounce off of Arreche and even the umpire, maybe preventing it from becoming a two-base situation. We have another runner on, and that now is 5 consecutive Chechen hitters who have not been made into an out. Of course, you can always ask of the umpire to avoid getting hit by the initial contact, but if it bounces off of the base, if it bounces off of the rubber, if it bounces off of a fielder, it's a little bit too much to say, okay, well, get out of that second one. But like I said, might have helped it, or it could all be Arreche. I didn't get a great look at it. Ubenik will hit with the man on first. The score sheet for the 5th inning has kind of gone wild. But it will go down as an error on the third baseman. A swing and a miss. It will end the inning, but not after CZECHIA able to score 4. They lead the game 6-0 as we head to the bottom of the 5th. It's Venezuela trying to break the seal on the scoreboard.
手上版前来到第一棒 batting first, number 1, Carlos Sanchez.
Probably a little bit overamped from that last inning. Jakob Winkler will get CZECHIA a pitch clock warning, as Carlos Garces will take his at-bat. So far, reached via an error and struck out. Up against Prazak, the second pitcher of the game for CZECHIA, and lines this one, but right at Sabotka. A couple steps over, and he's taking care of that one. There's the grand entrance of Winkler, who the jersey's untucked, the belt's undone. Come on, young man, we still have a game to finish. You can't get sloppy on us now. He's got the shades on, though it's been overcast for the last 3 innings. Prepared, perhaps? Aguilas has singled up the middle and has been walked intentionally. Spins around on that high and in pitch. If you want to follow along with the game, it's WBSC.org. Follow along the links to the current edition of the U18 World Cup. Putting a charge into it, but it's going to loop for a put out by number 12 Kratzo there in center. So Venezuela only has the 2 hits on the day. They have walked quite a few times. Navalilo has one of those walks in the 3rd inning. They walked the bases loaded, but did not score. And they had men on 1st and 2nd in the 4th and did not score. 6 runners left on base for Venezuela as a team. That's always an interesting stat. The left on base versus as a team and then as an individual, as spinning around Kozel, making the catch in right field. A sweet one, and that'll be the end of the Venezuelan half of the 5th. To the 6th we go. Here's where we're wrapping things up from Taichung.
6局上半节客队的进攻，场上打击顺序来到第7棒57，Number 74，杨Jose。
So after making the nice catch out in the field, it's your honor to lead off the next inning, but Kozel whiffs at that one. 143 on the in-stadium gun here at Taichung Baseball Stadium. Kozel trying to reach for the first time of the game, joining his teammates with this offensive outburst by CZECHIA. Out there is number 19 Gonzalez for Venezuela as the ball gets away. CZECHIA's max run output in the tournament, that one is called strike. Their maximum output was against Australia in a 5-2 victory back on September 5th. That was 5 days ago. That one just outside. In that one, it was Jakob Winkler with a couple RBIs. And there's a big swing and a miss on probably the best fastball by Gonzalez today. Here you see just pure filth. Too much for the batter to handle. Number 48 is in the box. That's Mikel Pokorny, who actually pinch ran for Max Luque, who got hit by a pitch. Then when he reached second, it was Pokorny's turn to hit. So Luque will not be credited with anything but a hit by pitch, and Pokorny will come away with a run. And now he'll hit, so he's making his basically second appearance in the game. Now this is from the designated hitter spot in the Chechen lineup, so can rotate a lot of guys in there without the game score worrying about their defensive position, as that one is lined straight back. Way in front in the dirt. It looks like it hit the catcher Rivera in a bad spot. He's gonna take a jog around the dirt around home plate. It is a rather big circle, as is the track from the pitcher's mound to home plate. Baseball fields, as long as the base paths are in the right situation, the bases are 90 feet away from each other, as there's a full count walk. It was a close one. That's in order as long as the fences are, I guess, reasonably made for the level of competition. And kind of very DIY, very customizable. Not a substitute. Starting shortstop Sobotka will hit, as after the strikeout, Gonzalez is searching for his control. Well, if we look at Venezuela's tournament to this point, getting back in the strike zone with a nice fastball. There you see Martin Sobotka, a walk, and popped out to the catcher on that failed bunt attempt. Venezuela's max score of the tournament is 6 runs, as that one's popped right to me. And onto the roof. I wonder if you can hear the comedy of the ball bouncing off the metal roof here in the structure. 6 runs was scored against Spain for Venezuela back on September 3rd. 1-2 pitch is left outside. In that game, Gabriel Davalillo had a couple of RBIs, right ahead of cleanup hitter Randy Soto, who had a couple of RBIs. And don't forget Bryson Guedes, who's laying in the weeds with 1. Grounded to third. Let's see if they can do it again. Not this time for Venezuela. Arrietche to Coronado for the force out at second. Too much speed by Sabotka, and that'll continue the inning. The man on first, as you see Arrietche staying low and making an accurate throw. Coronado didn't get it out of the glove super clean, but might have not mattered. Well, Morgan singled in his last at-bat, which pushed Luque up from first to second before, as mentioned, he was substituted out by Pokorny. Eventually, Morgan would score himself. In the dirt again, and Rivero is not really down to block these baseballs, but that one was so far ahead of the plate. He's really at the mercy of the pitch. I mean, of course, you want your catchers to go block him, but when they're so far out, they're going to do weird things on the bounce. Sometimes it's hard to, sometimes it goes between, what's easier to block, a fastball or breaking ball. The runner goes, the load and the throw, and it looks like it hits the runner in the helmet, bouncing away. Hopefully Saboka's okay. He's just gonna shake his hand off. There you see the throw by Rivero, not bad, and it hits him in the left hand. And he felt that one after a second, and he's still feeling it. So the protective glove on his right hand to prevent fielders from stepping on him or him crashing into the digits. He's got a successful stolen base. Perhaps Czechia, thinking evil thoughts, want to finish this game with a mercy rule. We'll need to score 4 and put up a 0. High and tight, and right now Gonzalez is all kinds of wild. He's missed really everywhere. He's missed low, he's missed high, he's missed in, he's missed out. I mean, he's trying out there. He's the 3rd pitcher in the game for Venezuela after playing an early game, as there's an easy take for a walk. In the earlier game, it's Melgarejo, who pitched 4 innings, 69 pitches. Dania, 22 pitches for 1 2/3 of an inning. Sanchez didn't get anybody out in 17 pitches. Then Perez came in for 5. Now, according to the tournament officials, there's a called strike, getting back in the zone. There's nothing against a pitcher pitching twice a day. What happens is his pitch count will just accumulate. So if he pitches 10 pitches one game in the doubleheader, he pitches 15 pitches. His total for the day is 25, but he's not required to suddenly rest if, for example, he pitches a couple days in a row, and this is his 3rd day, as he was required to rest on the 4th day. No 4 days of pitching in a row. All these measures in place to protect the ball players. Simon Kratzel on the hit and run had a single and an RBI. Right now, these Chechen hitters are confident. They're just waiting on their pitch, and they're putting a good swing on it. And Venezuela's just trying to find the strike zone. Gonzalez is kind of a lonely man out there. Obviously, with any pitcher, you want to get as far as you can without making a substitution. He's getting in there. His fastball has still got pretty solid velocity, if not good velocity for the tournament's sake. 142 is about 88 miles per hour, so that checks the box, but he's got to locate it. Full count now. Runners going. Taken for a ball, and a close one, but not getting the call for the pitcher. I mean, the bases are loaded. Now the manager will come out. We haven't said his name on the broadcast yet. Clemente Alvarez, listed as the manager. He will take the baseball away. So Gonzalez's day is over. We'll see about this new reliever coming in.
Venezuela de看投手并注是老白军在组围了那么跳，那他不对哟。
接下来将超法击去的是3棒 batting third, number 28,
Number 12, Juan Agudelo, with a 1 2/3 of an inning pitch. He's got 3 strikeouts, making his 3rd appearance here in the U18 World Cup on a final championship Sunday, but in the placement round, it's Venezuela against CZECHIA. I'm Ryan Chen, wrapping things up with the action down here in Tide Zone. He'll start off with a strike against number 28, Kubicek, who doubled to left field. That came with an RBI. Enrique Gonzalez Agudelo is the 8th pitcher used by Venezuela in the 2 games they've played. He had an earlier game against Australia that was a continuation from yesterday's suspension by rainout. Agudelo pitched against the Netherlands and then pitched against Japan previously. The only pitcher left for Venezuela, that one is wide, Ulysses Reyes. If you go by their listed pitchers, they got 9 for their staff here in the tournament. If they were to go to Reyes, they're trying to finish off this inning. In the driver's seat 1 and 2, wide. And he's showing off a pretty mature slider, is Agudelo. He's falling off the efforts of Brian Fernandez, who was followed up by Dylan Fernandez, and just in the game was Maximo Gonzalez. Says there's a strike 3 on the called strike. So CZECHIA threatens, but they don't score as we're headed to the bottom of the 6th.
这个班局首先要上场打击的是第4棒Valentine， 然后引领杨德松队友。
Kids wearing a volleyball team shirt, taking in the game behind home plate. Still in there for CZECHIA. Only their second pitcher in the game is Prazak. Facing Anderson Tovar, the left fielder, who gives a charge into this one. That's over the head of Sendelka. Let's see how far it goes. It lands on the track as the throw is rainbowed in. Tovar has himself a stand-up double. That one was a loud one. He's got a pained look in his face. Loading up, ready for a home run trot. It was close. Give him that. You see Sendelka with a big rainbow trying to get it in. Ben Morgan had to run all the way from his position at second to track it down. The third hit of the day for Venezuela, and trying to break the seal on the scoreboard, as I said, as Tovar dances off second. It's Arrietche who's done fairly well in the field defensively from third base. Only has the one fielding error on one of the harder hit balls by CZECHIA in the game. There's a man working in the CZECHIA bullpen. Oh, but he's not in any hurry. So far on the outing by Prazak, 33 pitches. Nope, pick off first. Don't want to say 33 yet, because he could pick off this runner and get taken out. He can just get taken out straight up. You never know. And on second, CZECHIA goes through their system of signs. Go to a fastball, swung on and miss. Arrietche is retired. You see just a straight fastball that pretty much split the plate. So left fielder Soto will take his at-bat. Before this morning, where Venezuela lost to Australia, previously they defeated Mexico 5-2 on the first day of our placement round here in Taichung. CZECHIA has been down here the whole time. Their first game was rained out September 1st, and subsequent other makeup days that we were supposed to play the game, for example. Venezuela, Spain, and Panama played their opening round games in Taipei, and now they're down here. There's a strike to get back in the count. But all these games matter with points for the standings in the world standings according to WBSC. Current leaders still Japan, followed by the USA, Mexico, Republic of Korea as the batter stepped out. But it's a missed pitch, so 3-1 the count. Chinese Taipei at 5th. Venezuela is at 6th. The Netherlands, who are in the super round, they're at 7th. A little lower, Australia at 9. Panama's in this tournament, they're 11th. Puerto Rico 13. CZECHIA 15, and Spain at 21. Their U18 squads representing themselves here. Venezuela finished 6th, but that was back in 2013, the last time they participated in the U18 tournament. And there's a hard hit ball, but foul to the left. Our ball boy eaten up by that one. And telling you about those walls over against the bullpens, against the little bit of an audience section. Oof. I mean, you're backpedaling, you're spinning around, the ball's got velocity, and then the outfielder misses you. It's okay, we only got a few more innings to go unless we get sent to extras. Soto at the plate, if we haven't said it yet, flew out twice to Sendelka. This one grounded to Morgan. He will securely take it on the knee and throw on to first. So 2 gone now. You know, one thing to kind of give Venezuela credit, I don't know if they would appreciate it that much, is that in the opening round, they grounded into 8 double plays, which is most in the World Cup. The next highest mark was Panama with 3. So after the swing and miss, that's obviously something they don't want, is to be making 2 outs with 1 swing. But what we said about this tournament a lot is, you know, the boys are still growing, and sometimes the ball off the bat is not coming off with so much velocity, so strong. So it's a little harder to turn double plays on, you know, softer ground balls, softer hoppers. Now, in similar fashion, we have not seen a ton of home runs in this tournament. I mean, there's the home run leaderboard that the top guy only has 2. That was Zhang Zhaohong. That was in the same game. And early on in the tournament, one of the 2 early home runs in Group B in the whole World Cup, according to the calendar, according to our clocks on the wall, was an inside the park round tripper. That one's taken. Now, if we go to the pitching side, leading the field in strikeouts, Mauricio Franca for the Netherlands with 16. That one is hit in the air, but eventually finding his mark is Kratzel, and he'll put it away. So Venezuela leaves one stranded as we head to the final inning between CZECHIA and Venezuela here in the placement rounds. So I actually have to correct myself. I read out the name of the batter who struck out the most. WSC. Why would you put? No, I'm kidding. Somebody can find that information out. On the pitching side, for Michael Sendelka takes another at-bat, already 2 for 3 on the day. Going for the cycle, he's got one over the head of the right fielder, Guedes. And by some miracle, Sendelka will need to come up one more time in the game and blast one out for a home run to finish a U18 World Cup cycle. This one actually giving a ride to the right side. He did have a looping single to the right side for the base hit in the 5th. That carried an RBI. That one's lifted to the left side, not a lot of room, and it will be in the bullpen of CZECHIA. Anyway, so with that stoppage, I could say the leaders for pitcher strikeouts. Kim Tae-hyun with 20, followed by Korea's Hwan Jun-seo. And then you have Ibrahim Gonzalez, a starter workhorse for Puerto Rico. Hit to the same area, but this one is going to be very close to the line, but foul. And in 4th place, Yok Son-yeop of Korea with 13. So 20, 15, 15, 13, and he is tied with Higashionoa Ayo of Japan. You go through these leaderboards, you find interesting mixes, like USA has 5 saves split between 2 players and they're on the leaderboard. That one's high. Of course, they list the leaders in hits for pitchers and a bunch of guys with 0. Squirted foul at home, as Winkler keeps fighting. There's the manager, Petra Che. Tapping with the ears and the nose to signal something. Two count as he grounds it to the right side and able to handle it is Soto. He'll go to the bag. Not an easy hop. Hit with a little bit of force as Sendelka moves up to 3rd. So Matos Bubenik will hit. He has not looked great in his last 2 at-bats. Right now, the swing mechanics are kind of off. He does have that big left foot leg kick, but you kind of need to time it up right with the rest of your swing, and that certainly didn't happen in the strikeout. His double play ball was hit okay. Certainly hard enough to start a double play. This one bounced to the left side and through the pulled-in defense, so as much as the broadcaster is trying to fix his swing, for now, he finds a hole and gets himself an RBI. That's pretty sweet. And if that's the end of his tournament, well, what a way to finish off. He kind of got a pitch in the middle, and despite hitting on the ground, was just in the right spot. Sendelka will come in to score for the 3rd time on the game. Josek will be hitting for Kozel. Here you see his numbers, 2 for 15 with an RBI. Kozel and Josek are both pitchers and position players. Kozel actually listed as UTL, short for utility, and Kozel, pitcher, comma, outfielder. Runners going. The throw on to second is a little off the line, and he'll dribble into center field, and big man Bubenik will have himself a stolen base. He got a great jump. And the catcher had some time to make up the foot speed, but a little bit off throw and a solid slide in there. I don't know if he'd be that fast anymore. He's got a ton of dirt against his pants and his jersey now. There you see in the background. So Josek with an RBI opportunity, swing and miss. And so much for that. Second out of the inning. Get another look at the kind of two-seam break to that one. Just adds a little bit of nastiness by Agudelo. That's one hit as the sun is shining through, but Guedes will put it away. So we head to the bottom of the seventh, where Venezuela needs to plate 7 to tie this one up. Welcome into the game to Maitreya Tretlika. 4 1/3 innings pitch, 5 strikeouts. That is right. Has not given up an earned run. In fact, his whip is okay. Well, 5 on base, 2 via the walk, 3 over the hit. No hit by pitches. He starts off with a fastball for a strike. Tretlika is, I guess, a not-so-secret weapon for CZECHIA coming out of the bullpen. Coronado taking his 3rd at-bat because there's a walk. So I guess technically his 3rd plate appearance. But who says plate appearances? That's so nerdy. Tretlika's fastball in the low 140s. Pumps another one in there. Grounded to Morgan, who shuffles his feet and a adventurous throw to first. Kind of one of those excuse me throws, but his teammate, with that wrinkler still at first, helps him out. So Venezuela sticking with their guys, just like last game, 9 hitters. So far, no substitutes yet. As at bat is Guedes, in the on-deck circle is Garces. No fear from Tretlika as he pumps in another fastball. Guedes had a successful sac bunt and then grounded to Morgan out at second. Yeah, it's really sunny out there as that line drive will leave the ballpark. I think I see a couple fans gonna head on out. So part of the substitution will be an outfield as Josek will be out there. Poke to the same neighborhood. In fact, probably the same street. How lucky they are. 2 foul balls in 1 game. So further out are the dark clouds, but on the field, there you see the shadows underneath Tretlika. Tapped up the middle as Saboka will make a bounce throw. And Venezuela has got a man aboard. Very quickly, the scorer has put up an error on the scoreboard. He slows Saboka, playing it pretty casually. His footwork's okay, though the hurried throw, as Guedes was hustling down the line. E6. 2 for CZECHIA, 2 for Venezuela. Hopefully you don't see any more. Ball low to leadoff man, Garces. Arguelles in the on-deck circle. 2 straight left-handed hitters for Venezuela. Done an okay job setting the table. In the last game, Arguelles hitting from the 8 spot. 2 base hits and a walk. And then he's promoted to second, you could say. Get more at-bats, try to get on base for the rest of your teammates to knock you in. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Garces facing a 1-2 count as CZECHIA has featured a healthy fastball, but he haven't seen his breaking ball yet today. 1-2, there's a big curve line to the left side and through as he left that one up. But that's what you're trying to do with a big lead. You know, try out the pitches that your secondary pitches. Hopefully they turn into your strikeout pitches. You're not going to sneak one by a hitter who's trying to defend his strike zone like that. So 4th hit of the day for Venezuela, as you see nobody working in the Chechen bullpen, though. Once taking from Venezuela, they've brought guys in from their dugout. So not the easiest thing to tell, not the definite indicator. Christian Arguelles will now take his turn to hit, number 2, batting second. For example, when you're at Timu Baseball Stadium in Taipei, or you're at the Intercontinental, I say up the street, but it is a substantial 6-kilometer jog. The bullpens are in the main structure behind their dugouts, as that one's flown to left field and it's going to bounce foul. Looks like the ball boy will leap the fence and go retrieve it. Chance to reset as CZECHIA set up to try to turn this double play. And if you look at their tournament as a whole, they have converted double plays. A few actually like outfield assists. Certainly here in Taichung Stadium, the runner was taking off on a hit and run, and the right fielder threw him out after the fly ball catch. That is the funny thing about team stats is multiple players can be included, as there's a taken strike 3 called. And we are 1 out away from the conclusion of this one. Not much deception there. I think that was a front door fastball. And Arguelles is sent down on strikes. So Davalilo, representing what CZECHIA wants to be the last at-bat of the game, he'll stand in. Kind of like Venezuela in the last game against Australia, with 2 outs and a big deficit. Several hitters consecutively need to reach base safely and then score. They lost earlier today 8-1 after continuing a rainout game from the day before. The sun is really shining bright, close to right above everyone's head. The shadow just about, if I'm a mathematician, I'll say about 10% at a 10-degree angle from their top of the heads to the ground. Getting back in the strike zone is CZECHIA. Fouling that one off. relief, and now down to one last strike. Czechian pitchers, as mentioned, have gotten 37 strikeouts on the tournament, 11 of them from Michael Sine, who started this game and pitched 3 innings. 2-2 now. Delivery home is fouled again to the right. Navalilo making his opponent work. .22 delivering home. Curveball, bounce foul. That time it was placed in the right spot, as opposed to the last pitch he'd offered Garces, who lined it for a single. There you see the Chechen bench eager to pop out for a victory handshake line. Czechia's last win was 4-0 against Spain a couple days ago. Bounced at the plate. It's going to be tough. Tried to go over, and he will eat it, so to speak, and that will be an infield single for Navalilo. And Venezuela has loaded the bases, still searching for run number 1. You know, look, Navalilo had to reach real far and just topped it into a spot where nobody was defending. As right-handed hitter, third baseman 0-2, coming home, taken for a ball. On deck is third baseman Arieche. Tovar, it looks like we'll call timeout. I don't know if the boys appreciate or are not so happy with the new sunny conditions now. 1-2 count, hit high in the air to the left side. Sendelka has found it, and he gloves it. That'll be the last out of the game, as Czechia will take it with a 7-0 victory, as they pull ahead to 3 wins here in the placement rounds and have played pretty tough throughout this World Cup. Hope our producer's getting a replay of the bowling ball celebration in center field. But their tournament is now over, as is Venezuela on the game. I'm assuming getting the victory is relief pitcher Prazak. 4 hitters get an RBI on the game for Czechia, and they will be the victors. We're here on a championship Sunday, back down in the placement rounds, concluded in Taichung. Later today, Korea versus USA, Japan versus Chinese Taipei in the championship to finish out this U18 World Cup. Well, I'm Ryan Chen on behalf of the World Baseball Softball Confederation and the Chinese Taipei Baseball Association, our broadcasting staff, and everybody working on the tournament. We thank you for taking in this ball game, and we'll see you in the next one.